Are you playing at the highest level in all areas of your life? If not, why not? What's stopping you? Like, for real. Do you know the reason most people don't reach higher levels in life? What's up, family? Welcome to CreelTalk, a place where two people living out loud share insights, failures, small wins, and everything in between. Listen, no fancy studio, no professional sound bites. It's just us growing. Whether you're going through breakthroughs or breakdowns at the same time as we are, pop in those earbuds and let's grow together. Believe. Do you know the reason most people don't reach higher levels in life? It's not a lack of capability or a lack of capacity. I'll tell you, if you guys recall, I had a conversation where we talked about the mindset that moved mountains, and I talked about just that period of life when I was a child and went through all the injury stuff. Coming out of that period to get back to normal life, I was encouraged to play sports. And so I had got into football, but then after football, I was told, hey, you should play sports year round, and that's when I was introduced to a couple of the winter sports. I wanted to play basketball, but I was too short. And then the other sports were like cross country, which when I heard what that was, I was like, no. And then there was wrestling. And so I was encouraged to try out, to go join the team, to get out there. And that's exactly what I did. My ninth grade year of high school, I joined the wrestling team in the winter season. And I was determined to be good at wrestling. It's like, okay, if this is what I'm going to do in the winter, I'm going to be good at this. And as I went out for the team, we had a pretty stacked team. Our school was known for wrestling for decades, and we had a legendary coach, Larry Hoon. And so in the weight class that I was endeavoring to wrestle, there was a couple people, but more notably, there was a senior in that weight class that was one of the best wrestlers in our school history. And this guy, he held down that weight class since his freshman year. So that was his weight class, 189. That was all him. And so when I went to start learning the sport of wrestling, I was pitted against this individual as a sparring partner. And I learned really quickly how difficult the sport of wrestling was. This guy, when we would practice, when we would spar, when we would wrestle off, he would destroy me. I don't know a more polite way to say it. He would beat me foolish. He would absolutely own me. He was highly skilled. He was very muscular and athletic. He had high endurance, and he had been wrestling since who knows? He probably wrestled his way out of the womb and was just wrestling his entire life. Probably wrestled on the farm. Who knows? But here we are now, me as a freshman endeavoring into this new sport. And every day I would come to practice, and every day it was the hardest day of my life. Every day I would be pushed to my limit. Every day I would be beaten down. I would be pinned. I would be put in crazy wrestling moves and positions. And every day I went home, I was sore. I was tired. But most importantly, I was mentally and emotionally defeated. But you know what? The next day, I would go back and I would go through it all over again. There's even a period of time where there's opportunity for wrestlers, if you know anything about the sport, to attempt to wrestle off against the individual who was the starter in that weight class. Well, I decided that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wrestle. I'm gonna attempt to get in the lineup. And I wrestled off against this individual who already beat me pretty badly during our regular practices, and he was offended by the idea that I would even attempt to come challenge him from his starting spot. And I'll never forget that first wrestle off, because I don't know if I've ever been more humiliated in my life. Like, he beat me so bad that I couldn't even attempt a move. I couldn't even do anything. It was terrible. It was embarrassing because everybody watches the wrestle off. So the whole team watched as he decided not to even pin me. He decided he was just going to continue to score, meaning take me down to the mat and then let me up over and over again, just to not only beat me, but to prove to me mentally and emotionally that I'm never going to be as good as he is. So I need to quit trying. That was his goal, as he would absolutely just wreck me in wrestling every single day. But that's what happens when we start any endeavor. Disruption follows intention. Whenever we set off to do something that we have high hopes in and we have high exploration, there's a lot of expectation. What then follows is what a lot of people call the wall or the disruption. What then follows is the challenge. Disruption follows in intention. We set off in this journey, we set off in this endeavor, or we look to do this thing. And it can be anything. I'm using the example of wrestling, but think about all the areas of our life where we want to win at the highest level. It could be our careers, it could be businesses, it could be our health, our fitness, our finances, it could be our parenthood, it could be being great spouses, it could be being great leaders. It does not matter. How you do anything is how you do everything. And everything requires the same process to win at. And so what happens is we start something with these high expectations, then we get punched in the mouth. We get met with adversity. We get met with challenges. And here's why people don't often win at higher levels in life is because when they hit that wall, they quit. Simply put, they give up. They even talk themselves into it. Hey, because it's this difficult, maybe that's a sign that this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. Because it's this hard. That really what happens is we lack in those moments a I will until attitude. It's more so like I will until it gets hard instead of I will until I win. We lack that winning mentality. It reminds me, I remember growing up, I played this game called Duck Hunt. I don't know if you guys remember this on Nintendo, and it made me take an extra interest in the dog that would be with the hunter because no matter what, every time I played this game, that dog was there and he would go help me hunt. So I did some more research on this hunting thing, especially people that would have what they would call a hound dog to help them hunt. And crazy enough, just like in the video game in real life, these hound dogs, they are relentless. They are some of the grittiest creatures you'll ever encounter. It does not matter how cold it is, does not matter how muddy they have to get, it does not matter how exhausted from a long days of hunting or the setbacks that might kick in, like I don't know, fleas, right? Like a dog in the hunt doesn't even know it has fleas because it's so fixated on the prize. A hound dog will literally hunt until it gets its prize. Absolutely relentless creature. And that's the mindset that because I kept showing back up every day to wrestling practice, I started to develop. It was this no quit mentality. I just showed back up the next day, which, by the way, that's the actual hardest part in anything we're endeavoring to do that really matter to us. Failure isn't what's hard, losing isn't what's hard. Showing up again the next day is what's hard, especially when you mentally start to think about all the things you're going to have to go through again. For me, it was thinking about, man, I'm going to have to lift these weights. I'm going to have to do these pull ups. I'm going to have to do this cardio. Then we're going to do actual practice. And then this guy's going to just destroy me, right? Like beat me senseless. But every day I decided to just show back up every day. As a matter of fact, it was in this period of time that's when I actually discovered the difference between winners and losers. Because up until that point, up until the wall, winners and losers are actually the same. They're both losing in everything. That's the process. You're doing the thing and then you fail. You're doing the thing and then you lose. But here's the difference. You see, winners show up again the next day and refuse to give up. That's the only difference. They both go through the same process, they go through the same challenge, they meet the same disruption. But a winner, which is just a mentality, decides that I'm going to show up again the next day and I'm going to give it all I got again. I mean, come on, guys. How do you stop a man that won't quit? That's why this mindset matters because it's actually a psychological thing. Follow me here. What happens is when you keep showing back up and you keep showing back up and you keep showing back up, unconsciously, what your mind discovers is he's not going to quit. He ain't giving up. Like all the signs, all the signals, all the survival mechanisms that are within the biology of the body aren't getting him to stop. So let's stop sending those signs and signals and let's figure it out. Let's help him win instead of sending all these signs. What happens unconsciously is your mind starts to become your partner instead of your adversary. It starts to join you in the journey of figuring out this thing because it realizes you're going to just come back again. So let's just figure it out together then. That's what happened to me with wrestling because I kept coming back. I kept coming back. I kept coming back. No matter how hard it was, no matter how daunting the thought process, I kept showing back up and I showed back up still. Here's the other part of it. I still had a positive expectation that, man, I'm going to figure this sport out. I'm going to progress. I developed a figure it out mentality. I wasn't just showing up to attend. I wanted to figure out how do I find my potential in this endeavor. And I'll never forget, it was about the sixth or seventh wrestle off. Everyone up to that point, I had been completely destroyed by this individual at the weight class I wanted to break into. And about our seventh wrestle off, it was kind of business as usual for most people, including him. I mean, we were halfway through the season and he had yet to even have a point offensively scored on him aside from people escaping. So he's not just beating me senseless. He's beating everybody he wrestles senseless. He's that good. He was, man, a model and a winner to look up to for sure. But in this wrestle off, a weird thing happened. We got to the second period and I took him down. And when that moment happened, you can almost feel the air escape the room because of all the gasps of everybody looking like, did that just happen? Did he just score? And even he, for a moment, looked and was like, whoa, it's been a while since that has taken place. Now, he proceeded to beat the brakes off me the rest of that match and win. But what happened psychologically is I realized I made progress. You know what? He can be beaten. It's like one of my favorite lines in all the Marvel movies. You remember the second Iron Man movie when he's like, why did you do all of that? All this work, all this money, all this planning for what? And he said, for a drop of blood. Because when there's blood, that means there's a potential to beat you. And that what happened for me psychologically is there was a potential there where I realized I'm getting better. I am progressing. I am growing. It actually inspired me. It motivated me to want to keep showing up now. You know, up to that point, it was a task to show up, but I saw that progression and now I wanted to show up because I see I can get better. And if I can get better from where I started to where I am now, what if I just keep this consistency? What if I keep showing up? What if you keep your consistency? What if just because today was hard, you show up tomorrow and you go that much harder at work? You show up that much more intentional for your kids. You put that much more detail and planning into your finances or your weight loss journey. You pick, because how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And so here's a cool part of the story that happened as we were getting towards the tail end of the season. We entered into a tournament where there was a lot of teams and they allowed for certain teams to have alternates, extras. And because of my consistency and my relentless and my resilience, my coach decided, you know what? I'm going to make you an extra for this tournament. One of the first times a freshman got a chance to be an alternate in a tournament. And I had not actually, because I did not choose to participate in the freshman wrestle-offs or wrestling tournaments or any of that stuff. I decided to stay focused in going after this guy, which I didn't know if that was a good idea or not, but I hadn't wrestled an actual match before. Just practices and sparring and these wrestle-offs. And so I really didn't know where I was as far as my progression, but we get to this tournament and I was pretty nervous, but my first match, I pinned the guy in about a minute. And it once again clicked. I'm like, I'm decent at this. All that hard work, it actually is paying off. And I pursued the rest of that tournament and won every match all the way to the finals. And the crazy part is that senior I told you about, he was on the other side of the bracket because they always, if you're in the same team, they split it and nobody assumes an alternate's going to make it. Yet here I am. I get to the end of that night and we're in the finals. And the finals are this freshman who's been an alternate all year going after this guy, and then this senior who's legendary and historic in our school history. And everybody was excited to come out for that match. Everybody, because they couldn't believe it. They're like, this is really happening. This is crazy. This is a story. But the story is deeper than just a freshman made it. The story is everybody, and this is something for you to take note. They've been watching me. I didn't know they were watching me, but people are always watching you. They're watching. They're seeing. Is he going to keep going? Are they gonna show up again tomorrow? Are they truly going to be a man of their word? Because I would tell other people what I was going to do. And I actually tied it to other people, letting them know that I was going to follow through and they can follow me. Hey, let's do this together. I created some camaraderie with other teammates and other freshmen on the team. And so now it was bigger than me. And here we are now, my chance to show them that I was a man of my word. I'm going to follow through. And I showed them by showing up, and I'm in the finals going against this guy. To make a long story short, he beat me again in overtime. It took everything he had to win that match. And there was a pivotal point in that match that a spark went off. And it was when he took me down for the first time, and it wasn't until the second quarter, but he took me down and he didn't let me up. No, I escaped. I got up. I broke his hold. And it clicked to me. I can hang with this guy. But what really started to click, all of the practices, all of the consistency, all of the hard work, all of the effort, right? I was in the hunt. And what happened, what that click was, y'all, is I got that dog in me. It activated. I was in the hunt and I got that dog in me. It activated and I gave him a run for his money. You see, most people don't make it to higher levels. Here's why. It's because they never develop that dog. They never become a dog in the hunt. And it's not that difficult to do. Here's how you do it. Number one, you just make a decision that when you start the thing that matters, you're not going to quit. Here's the decision. I will until. That's the decision. That's number one. I will until. Come hell or high water, I'm not quitting. I will push through whatever challenges present themselves, and I am going to win at this thing, whatever winning looks like. Define it. Begin with the end in mind. Number two, we have to know that disruption follows intention. It's part of the process. Whenever it's literally laid out in every story you've ever read ever. Whenever there is something worthwhile to have, there's always a challenge to stop you from getting it. It's part of the plan. It's how the universe is set up. It's part of the process. It's not meant to stop you. It's meant to strengthen you so you can become who you need to be to actually get the worthwhile thing. Disruption follows intention. Number three, here's what you do knowing that is you tie your follow through to something bigger than you. You see, I tied it to the other people that were part of our team, the other freshmen that didn't know whether or not they were going to stick it through the process. I tied it to the fact that I had made a decision and a public declaration, and now I had to be accountable to more than just me. Who are you accountable to? When you win at that thing, who also wins? When you lose at that thing, who also loses? You see, part of the motivation isn't I'm doing it for me. I'm not losing weight just so I can look better and be in great shape. I'm losing weight because I need more energy to show up for my kids and be a better father. Tie the follow through to something that's more important than you. And then number four, this is the most important part. This is it right here. If this is what you came for, this is why we're having this talk. Number four is you have to pour so much consistent and persistent effort intentionally into the thing, whatever it is, until that thing owes you success. Because of the intention and the effort, it owes you success. You've paid the full price and some. You've paid the full price and some of being a great mother. You have paid the full price and some of being an incredible employee in your position at that company. You have paid the full price and some of being an outstanding leader of others. By showing up every day, by doing the little things, by refusing to cheat and cut corners, you've paid the full price and some. So now when your defining moment happens, the click and that dog comes out because you remember, I deserve this. I was created for a moment such as this, and now I'm in the hunt and I'm that dog. You got to get that dog in you. That's how we get to higher levels in life. It's not simply showing up, it's not simply doing the things. Nah, you got to get that attitude. I will until, and you've got to get that dog in you. Cool ending to that wrestling story. You fast forward 4 years now, my senior year, and I have had an incredible career myself. I've done decently well. And we get to the last match of the season before we get to the tournaments, which then you have the potential to wrestle to become or see who's the best in the state and the country and all the stuff. But before that, we get to the last match, and I'm undefeated. Great season. I've actually set the pin record. It's gone well. And that last match, I actually set the fastest pin record. I pinned this guy in like 9 seconds. So it was fun. But then that senior, he was there. Out of nowhere, I didn't even know. And he walks over to me, and he's just, you can see in his eyes the pride. You can see the just in his heart, he feels the sense of just humility. And he daps me up and gives me a hug. And he tells me, ever since you was a fat little freshman, I always knew you had that dog in you. Your dreams and your goals, they deserve to be realized. Your life deserves to be lived at the highest level. And the only way we get there is you gotta get that dog in you. Do me a favor, quit quitting and go get that dog in you. Believe. Listen, if you've been feeling stuck, misunderstood, or like opportunities keep passing you by, I need you to hear this. Your life changes the moment your communication changes. Period. Most people think success starts with talent or money or connections, but it doesn't. It starts with your ability to talk, listen, connect, and build relationships that actually move your life forward. And that's exactly why I created the CreelTalk communication course, which is coming soon. This isn't another fluffy how to talk to people class. This is a blueprint for building confidence and creating real connections and opening doors that you didn't even know existed. If you want better relationships and better opportunities, or just to be able to walk into a room and know you belong there, then this course is for you. Get ready, because when you learn to communicate with purpose, your entire life levels up. CreelTalk communication course coming soon.